Today we will discuss with a chapter of employment. So the first is some of the basic concept which we are going to discuss. Who is a worker? Now, worker is an individual who is engaged in some production activity. As because here production means value addition. Value addition means here the economic value added to a product before it is sold in the market. So, we can also define the worker as an individual who is engaged in the process of value addition. Next, we can tell that sum total of the value addition by the residents of a country amounts to the national income. Accordingly, we can state that a worker engaged in the process of value addition contributes to the national income of a country in one way or the other. Now, the next one is self-employed and hired workers. Now, let's know this meaning of self-employed and who are the hired workers. Now, self-employed means these are those workers who are engaged in their own business or they are having their own profession. For example, we can tell that a farmer is working on his farm or an entrepreneur working in his own factory. These are the self-employed workers. And who are hired workers? Now, these are those workers who work for others. They render their services to others. They get wages or salaries, or maybe they are paid in kind. For example, we can tell a proofreader working in a publication house, a teacher working in a school. So they are all the hired workers. Now these hired workers are again classified into two categories: casual workers and regular workers. Okay. Who are the casual workers here? Casual workers, they are the daily wages. They are not hired by their employers on regular basis. And they are also not given any sorts of social security benefits like provident fund, gratuity or pension. Casual workers are usually unskilled workers like a worker working in a construction site. They are the casual workers. Now, let us understand the meaning of the regular workers. Now, who are the regular workers here? They are working on a permanent basis and they are working on the payroll of their employers. They are entitled to all the social security benefits like pension, gratuity, provident fund. And here regular workers are usually skilled workers like an engineer working in a factory. Now again let us discuss with the meaning of labor supply, labor force, workforce, unemployment and also participation rate. Now here labor supply is what? Labor supply refers to the amount of labor that the workers are willing to offer corresponding to a particular wage rate. You may be able to work for 10 hours a day but willing to work only for 6 hours a day at a particular wage. Next, labor supply is measured in terms of man hours of work or we can tell man days, considering 8 man hours which is equal to 1 man a day, and it is always estimated in relation to wage rate. Now, labor force is what? Labor force on the one other hand refers to the number of workers actually working or willing to work, and this is not related to wage rate. Now, let us understand the difference between labor supply and labor force. Labor supply is what? It refers to supply of labor. And labor force is what? It refers to number of persons actually working or willing to work. Next, labor supply is what? Supply of labor is measured in terms of man days of work and is always related to wage rate. Labor force is not actually related to wage rate. Next, labor supply. Supply of labor can increase or decrease even when the number of workers remain constant. Here, labor force is what? Labor force increases or decreases only when the number of persons actually working or willing to work increases or decreases. Labor supply, here the supply of labor is measured in terms of man days or person days. One person day referring to 8 hours of work. And labor force is what? It measures in terms of number of persons, not in terms of persons days. Now, let us understand the meaning of workforce. What is this workforce? Workforce refers to the number of persons actually working and does not account for those who are willing to work. So we can tell that workforce is what? Labor force minus number of persons not working but are willing to work. And unemployment is what? The above concept helps to estimate the unemployment. That means number of persons unemployed means labor force minus workforce. Now, participation rate is what? Participation rate refers to the portion of the population that is actively engaged in the process of production or the process of value addition in the country. So it is the worker population ratio and which can be estimated as participation rate. How can you calculate it? Total workforce by total population into 100. Total workforce by total population into 100. Now we have to understand that why do people work and why should we study about working people. The three factors that can explain that why do people work. People work for their living and it is essential for their existence in a system of mutual interdependence. Next, employment infuses in us a sense of self-esteem and bring to force our sense of self-worth. Then employment contributes to GDP of the nation, and contributing GDP gives us a sense of global pride because the growth of the GDP implies growth of the nation. So it is important that the people should work. Next, and why we study about working people? Now, studying about employment offers insight into the quality and quantity of human resource or human capital, which is an important determinant of economic growth. Like employment study help us to analyze the significance of the different sectors. The primary sectors, the secondary sector, the tertiary sector in the growth process of the country. We come to know which sector employs how much and contributes how much towards GDP. Next, it helps us to analyze many social issues such as social security of the workers, work environment, exploitation of the workers. Next, it offers input of manpower planning, understanding the nature and extent of existing employment. We can plan for our future requirement of manpower across the different sectors of the economy.